A long time ago in Japan, around the 7th century, there was a boy named Kamui from a poor village. People in the village didn't treat him well because of his low status. As he grew older and stronger, Kamui decided to leave and join a group of ninjas. But being a ninja meant he had to hurt many people. This made Kamui feel really bad, so he decided to leave the group. But leaving wasn't simple. If a ninja left their group, they were called a nukenin, or runaway ninja, and other ninjas would try to kill them. This is where Kamui's big adventure starts. A flashback shows Kamui as a little kid. The ninja group's leader, Dumok, had asked young Kamui to attack another ninja named Suguru who wanted to leave the group. During the fight, Suguru was able to hurt some of Dumok's followers, but she didn't want to hurt young Kamui. When Dumok saw this, he tried to use his special weapon, the Guzakuri's Mantriki, to hurt Suguru. She fought back, hurting Dumok's eye. Dumok got very mad and threw Suguru into the sea. But later, Dumok showed Kamui a surprising secret. His eye wasn't real, so he wasn't really hurt in the fight. Fast forward 14 years, and Kamui is on the run because he left the ninja group and now they're after him. As they chase him, Kamui uses some secret moves to fight off a lot of ninjas. He's super agile and jumps from tree to tree, setting traps and using some strong moves called Izuna moves. Kamui even has a special move no one taught him, the shadow move. He uses it to take down one of the ninjas he used to work with. After all this fighting, Kamui tries to save his friend Mikumo and tells her to leave the ninja group with him. But Mikumo doesn't want to and even tries to attack Kamui. Sadly, Kamui has no choice but to defend himself and ends up using the Izuna moves to stop her. Meanwhile, there's this helper dude washing horses by a river. Out of nowhere, a guy named Hanbei shows up and causes trouble by hurting the horse. He grabs part of the horse's leg and runs off into the woods. Kamui, who was nearby, saw all of this and decided to chase Hanbei. Meanwhile, the horse's owner, Gunbei, is pretty mad at the helper. Gunbei isn't just anyone. He's a big deal, the leader of a famous samurai group called the Matsuyama clan. Kamui catches up to Hanbei, who offers to help Kamui escape from the area. Kamui has a plan. He uses a trick called Kage Bunshin to distract Gunbei and his crew. They think they're shooting at Kamui, but they're actually aiming at a log that Kamui set up as a decoy. On the other hand, Hanbei offers Kamui a ride back to his village on a boat. But things get wild when a huge storm rocks the boat. Instead of helping Kamui, Hanbei throws him into the sea. He does give Kamui a piece of wood to hold onto, though. Hanbei justifies this by saying he's got a family to look after. Back at the Matsuyama base, Gunbei is still super mad about what happened to his favorite horse, Ichiro. He's so angry that he orders his guys to find and punish whoever hurt his horse. The next day, the local fishermen were surprised to find a stranger on their beach. One of the fishermen, who turned out to be Hanbei, then checked the man and found out that he was Kamui. He felt bad for what he did to Kamui, so he brought him home. Hanbei asked his family to help Kamui get better. That night, things got intense. Osika, Hanbei's wife, tried to hurt sleeping Kamui. But Hanbei's daughter, Sayaka, woke up just in time and stopped her. Kamui woke up during all this and was pretty mad at Hanbei for what happened earlier. But Hanbei said that Kamui couldn't kill him because Hanbei had 3 children that he had to raise. After saying sorry, Hanbei showed Kamui around their village where most people are fishermen. Sayaka then pointed out an old house and told Kamui it's his new place. It was cleaned up by her mom. As Kamui tried to walk in, there was a sneaky knife trap waiting. Kamui immediately accused Osika of being the one who tried to harm him. And sure enough, it turns out Osika was actually that ninja, Sugaru, from the beginning of the story who Dumok threw off a cliff. Before things got too heated, Hanbei showed up and Osika decided not to fight Kamui. Later that night, Hanbei wanted Kamui to have dinner with them. While they were eating, a young dude named Ichido was spying on them from behind the house. Turns out he's got a huge crush on Sayaka, and he looked pretty sad seeing her hang out with Kamui. After dinner, Kamui decided to follow Hanbei to a big storage room. There Kamui caught Hanbei cutting up hooves from Ichiro's horse. Turns out Hanbei was using them as fish bait because they worked like a charm. Next day, there's big fishing contest. Kamui teams up with Hanbei, and he's the one rowing their boat out into the deep water. Once they get to a good spot, Hanbei shows off his secret weapon, that horse hoof bait, and it works big time. Their fishing rods were going crazy. They caught a ton of fish, especially snapper. The two of them not only became buds, but they also won the competition because they caught more fish than anyone else. After the fishing competition, Hanbei caught Ichido sneaking out of the storage place. Hanbei also told Ichido that he would not marry Sayaka to him. This also made Ichido feel hurt towards Hanbei. In the afternoon, Hanbei approached Kamui and revealed that he knew Kamui's identity as a Nikkinen ninja. And surprise, he also knew about Osika's secret ninja past. He found out when he saw a ninja weapon fall out of her clothes one time. Hanbei wanted Kamui to stick around and keep an eye on Osika for safety, but Kamui didn't say a word and just walked off. One evening, Ichido decided to surprise Sayaka at the night market with a comb gift, but on his way home, he saw this news poster. Hanbei is now on the wanted list by the Matsuyama folks because of the hold horse hoof thing with Gunbei. Meanwhile, Kamui felt it was time to split from the village. He thought it would keep Suguru safe from the ninja peeps, but just when he was trying to sail away, Suguru showed up and trapped his boat. Things got heated, and they had underwater fight. In the end, Kamui didn't hurt Suguru, he just swam away. Suguru had Kamui in a tight spot, but he told her that Hanbei knew her secret too, and that he was also on the run, just like her. This also made Suguru realize and believe what Kamui said, but when they got back to the village, they found Hanbei's place in flames. Word on the street was that the Matsuyama clan took Hanbei, thanks to Ichido spilling the beans. Sayaka was super mad and went for Ichido, but Kamui stepped in. Still, the villagers were ticked off and thought Ichido was a snitch. So, they took matters into their own hands, and well, let's just say Ichido was done for. Suguru told Kamui she was gonna bust Hanbei out. The very next day, everyone gathered to see the Matsuyama clan do their thing with Hanbei. Just as things looked bleak for him, in swooped Kamui and Sugaru, turning the tables on Gunbei. They also nabbed Gunbei's loot and shared it with the villagers. After the great escape, Kamui whisked Hanbei and his fam off to a safer place, an island named Saki. When they almost arrived at the beach, they were surprised by several fishermen who died horribly. It turned out that the death of the fishermen was caused by several sharks, which at that time became pests for the fishermen. When they were about to be pounced on by a shark, suddenly the shark was speared by a crew member who was called a shark hunter. The shark hunters brought Hanbei and his crew to Saki village. There, the head shark hunter guy, Fudo, told the village chief that they'll clear the waters of any sharks, and for free. Fudo thought Kamui had guts and asked him to join the shark hunting fun. During the hunt, Fudo and his crew members managed to kill several sharks very easily. This also impressed Kamui with Fudo's abilities. Later that night, the whole village threw a big bash. On a side note, Sayaka pulled Kamui aside at the beach. She handed him seashell that looked like the sun rising. Sayaka asked Kamui to keep the shell, so that Kamui's heart will always be close to Sayaka. Kamui was just heading to the ship to chat with Fudo when a bunch of ninjas popped out of nowhere and chucked him into the ocean. It turns out that the ninja group was Fudo, who deliberately did this to test Kamui's abilities. Stuck in a cage underwater, Kamui was no quitter. He dug through the sand and hustled back to the ship. Knowing that Kamui had extraordinary talent, Fudo recruited Kamui to become a member. Not only that, Fudo also revealed that he and the crew were actually Nikkenen who wanted freedom. That same night, Sayaka had an eerie dream where Kamui got roughed up real bad by some villagers and died covered in wounds. This gave her some serious bad vibes about what could happen to him in the future. So the next day, when Kamui was gearing up to sail away, Sayaka thought it'd be a good idea to grab a meal together with Hanbei's crew. There, Sayaka expressed her feelings for Kamui and asked Kamui to come home to see her occasionally. Fast forward a bit, Kamui and the shark hunter dudes were sailing off when, there were these bright white fireworks in the sky, which turned out to be a sign of the arrival of the ninja clan. Kamui, sensing something fishy, dashed back to the village. However, when he arrived there, Kamui found that the residents had died. Not only that, he'd also find that Hanbei and his family died with their mouths full of foam. Kamui stumbled upon Suguru, who was pretty much on the brink of death. With her last breaths, Suguru said that Fudo was a traitor and had poisoned all the drinking water in this village. Hearing this, Kamui became very angry. He immediately went to the village and killed several ninjas who were undercover there. When Kamui was making his way to the shore, he ran into Fudo and a village painter, who, oddly enough, was still breathing. Turns out, this painter guy was actually Dumok, and Fudo was his student. At that moment, Kamui's swamped by ninjas, and Fudo's tossing firecrackers at him. But Kamui's no slouch. He dodged the explosions and took out the ninjas. Fudo, being all sneaky-like, pulled Dumok to a safer spot, while Kamui had to go ninja hunting in the village. After he cleared out those ninjas, it was showdown time. Kamui and Fudo, toe-to-toe. Kamui pulled out his slick shadow move to off Fudo, but Fudo had the same trick up his sleeve. It was a real nail-biter, but Kamui gave it everything he had to take Fudo down. During their big showdown, Kamui found a way to outsmart Fudo. He managed to chop off Fudo's hands. Kamui then left Fudo alone until he died from blood loss. Switching scenes, Dumok did a business move. He sold a pretty eerie painting to Gunbei. This wasn't just any painting, it was made from blood and told Kamui's life story. After paying respects and burying Hanbei's family, Kamui hit the high seas, hoping for better days. Moral lesson from the story is no matter how tough things get, it's our choices that show who we truly are. Being kind, loyal, and doing the right thing can help us grow and find our way, even in the darkest times.